So,
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, Ian. How's it
Hi.
going, man?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm all right. Murray, what time is it there by you now?
Hello, good afternoon.
good afternoon, Aslan. Aslan, I think your there's some music playing in the background. Ah, there we go. That's better.
Can I record the webinar?
I am recording it. I will make a recording and make it available to everyone afterwards. But yeah, so it's not necessary for you to record it as well.
Okay, thank you.
Just waiting for a couple of people, and then I'll start maybe in a minute or two. But before that, let me welcome you guys. I think I've spoken to most of you, but for those that I haven't met, it's nice to meet you. My name is Dani Ludik. I've recently joined the IXUS team, well, a couple of months ago, but I've been involved with electromagnetics for some time, probably the past decade or so, from both an academic perspective as well as industry. I used to work with the software package called FECO, which is originally a sister company of EMS, of the guys that started IXUS. And I will be presenting some of these features and enhancements that we've introduced in IXUS 4.0 to everyone. I hope you guys can hear me clearly, and you can also see my screen. As I noted now to Aslan, I am recording the session, and we will make the recording available online so that you guys can review it again, and maybe then some questions pops up, and you're welcome to email us. But during this webinar, I also want to prompt you guys to stop me, ask questions, point out if something's unclear. Want to keep it informal. We're a small user group, and the idea with this webinar is so that we actually touch base with you guys a little bit more and hear what you have to, what your experience is using IXUS and your thoughts about these features that we've introduced. So so that is the strategy for today. So I see the waiting room is quiet now, but I'm keeping an eye on it. So I'm going to okay, there's one more person, Krishna, joining. It will be a combination between some slides as well as an interactive demo. It's not aimed at training, so you guys don't have to follow with your own modelers. Obviously, you're welcome to do that if you want, but it's more of a demo, so show and tell what we made, what our team of developers have made, and answer some questions if you guys have any. Tim, okay, sorry, I see there's a couple of people joining now. Hi Tim, hi Krishna. Okay, I am also keeping an eye on the chat room. So if you feel you'd rather post a message in the chat, then I'll answer it there. Okay, but I'm going to kick off. So welcome everybody, and thank you for taking this time. I think it's late afternoon or early evening for most of you, and we really appreciate you joining here so that we can tell you a bit about the IXUS 4.0 features and changes that we've introduced. So firstly, we are planning to host these webinars or talks a little bit more regularly. So because it's easy for us to showcase some IXUS functionality on a regular basis, and also to touch base with everyone here, all our users, to find out exactly what works for them, what doesn't work, answer questions quicker. So I will be emailing you this invites to these webinars on a regular basis. And then if you can make some time to join, it'll be awesome. I apologize for only sending the invite yesterday. We were waiting for the participant list to grow a little bit more, but in the future, I will send it out a couple of days in advance. So most of you should have gotten the IXUS 4 release update. It includes the modular version 4.0.1, as well as the manager, the cloud-based manager version 4.0.0. And one of the major features that kept us busy a lot over the last say year for in terms of development is actually something that you guys can't see. It runs in the background, and it is it's 64-bit support for our modeler. And what previously it was 32-bit support. Now, for those of you that can remember from computer science days, what that means is that this 64-bit allows us to model or to accommodate larger storage units like vectors and arrays and things like that. We can interface with 64-bit libraries. And what it boils down to is it will make the modeler more robust in terms of modeling larger sites, as well as the amount of antennas that we can add to a site. So whereas in the past you may have gotten an error or an exception, this should not happen now because we went over to 64-bit support. This is just something that you will that should happen seamlessly when you use the modeler. But what I will show you today is some additional features that I will talk about a bit in the slides, as well as illustrate interactively using my IXUS modeler. As I noted, you guys don't have to worry about recording yourselves or capturing this webinar. I will record it and then make it available to you afterwards. And please, as always, I want to promote or prompt you guys to ask questions, make recommendations, say if something is unclear. We value your feedback, and we use that to guide us again into making IXUS a better product. So if you can't think of anything now, you're also always welcome to email us at support@ixusapp.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so let's kick off. The first thing, and these changes that I will talk about now, you should have gotten in the release notes PDF that Johan Nel sent to everyone, and this is basically a summarized version of that that I will be using. So you can also follow along on that PDF document that Johan sent. I will also make these slides available afterwards. Okay, so we made a couple of context menu changes, specifically regarding the show and hide functionality. We can show and hide all of the geometry and the items, and I'll demo that to you guys now. But before okay, so let me show that, and then we can take some questions. Sorry, 2 additional bullet points. The ground marker cannot be deleted now because it's good to keep that for a reference. And we also allow for some easy renaming of signage directly from the context menu, or if you press F2. Okay, so let me show you guys what this looks like. So I created just a demo site on our Try IXUS platform. And as you can see, it's pretty busy. So if I want to hide this geometry, I right click and I can hide all, and then I am prompted.
Donnie?
Yes, Johan.
We're still seeing the slides.
Okay, it should update now. Let me know if you can see my IXUS modeler.
Nope.
I can't see it.
Okay. It's all right. Let me. Okay, screen 2. Here we go.
Yep, it's up now.
Is it up? Okay,
Looks good.
sorry. Zoom allows you to share individual windows or screens, and I think I shared the individual screen. The individual window. But everybody can see the modeler now.
Yes.
Yep, it's
By
all
the
good.
way, I just want to say a special welcome to Tim, because most of these features are coming from his team. and it was very, very good input from you guys. So we appreciate that, and I hope we implemented it as you expected us to.
Welcome, Tim, and thank you for all the suggestions. I think it was very valuable, and yeah. So if, as
He
noted,
says he's not taking responsibility for anything.
okay, disclaimer to everyone else. All right, so everybody can see the model now. It's a busy-ish site. What I will do is I will first start by hiding all the geometry. So I right click here, I can say hide all. Now I'm prompted with the dialog that asks me, am I sure I want to do this? I say yes, so everything disappears. Okay, now let's start adding, we can start adding some geometry. So let's say this is a building. I can right click on this geometry, and I can also hide this individual item. Or I can, if I have, for example, an exclusion zone, I can do the same with that exclusion zone. So that is there. I have, as I noted, the other feature that we added is you cannot delete the ground marker. It's not possible. Let me just get back to my slides to see. Yeah, the other thing is you can also rename various labels and signage directly from the context menu over here. You can either do that by right-clicking, or you can press F2 and it will rename it. Okay. Is there any questions on this first bit of functionality? Rather straightforward, not so much of a yeah.
I might just comment there, Donnie.
Yes.
So you mentioned the show hide part. So the thing that we actually added is to just right click on that building quickly. So that show all geometry and hide all geometry was added. So there was always a show hide, but now you can choose to show each of the groups on the left where it says geometry or exclusion zones or environmental slice, field points, all of those groups are grouped together, and then you can choose which one to show and hide. So that's the biggest change. Actually, quite a lot of menus that was changed to do that.
Awesome. There we go. So as you once showed there, for example, if I right click on the environmental Ortho Slices, I can show or hide these individual groups. Or here, for example, I can hide all the geometry. I can show everything again. All right. Any questions on this? Okay, if not, then I'm going to continue. Next up is the field point additions. So some of the updates there is we changed our default from 5 meters to 2 meters. I'll show that now. We've added a description field that is uploaded to the manager. I'll also show that. We've added some calculation options, which is percentage of the public standard, percentage of the occupational standard, as well as an electric field total calculation option that will show the results in terms of this unit. And these field points, as I noted, is if you save to the manager, the IXUS manager, then these field point data is also pulled in. Okay, so let me show you guys this. Let me just, I'm going to hide everything and make just a few things available. Let's say you added a field point over here. You can click on this one and it will bring up this dialog box that you guys are used to. This range default value has been changed to 2 meters, but obviously you can edit it. It doesn't matter. We also added this description box, so you can make a comment over here, and this comment is uploaded to the manager, and then this value of this at this field point you can change now to electric field total, the percentage of the standard. Here I just use our Panza, so percentage of public and a percentage of occupational, and yeah, you can easily switch between that. as I said, if you save this value back to the manager, I'm going to switch over to what we have over there. This is just my cloud-based. This is just what I'm connected to. Sorry, let me just log in.
By the way, so the field point board is intended to be for points of interest. So if you fill in a description of say for instance, you've got a field point right in front of your site gate, then you can type in field point at site gate, whatever, and then that can go straight into your report in the list of POIs.
Okay, so here on the base station details, there's a field points tab, and here we have these various field point names, and these descriptions are also pulled through, the location as well as the value and the unit that it comes in. Okay.
I might just mention there, Donnie, quickly.
Yes.
So the reason for the location here is eventually I would like to move towards bringing in the measurements so that the measurement data and the predicted data can be seen in the same view. So that's down the line. I want to have the ability to pull in measurement points as well, so that you can see both calculated and measured. But at this stage, this is for the first round, this is already a lot better than it was.
Okay, let's pause here and take some. Please, if anybody wants me to stop. Oh, Calvin is in the waiting room. Sorry. If anybody wants me to stop and ask and have questions, just unmute and speak up, please. Okay. Welcome, Calvin. I will make this.
Calvin, you have to tell everyone who you are and say hello and say why I'm late.
Hi, EME engineer, and didn't realize
I was just joking anyway.
Started something. Okay, thank you. I won't interrupt her.
In Calvin's defense, I think he was hanging around in the waiting room a bit, and I was
just a little.
So sorry about that, Calvin. But welcome,
Okay.
and thank you for joining. My name is
thank you.
My name is Donnie Ludik, and together with Yuan, we're just giving you guys an overview of all the new IXUS 4.0 features and changes. But Calvin, we are recording this so that you guys can look at it afterwards again.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
all
Danny,
right.
I've got a question.
Yes, Vitus.
Yeah, so with the field points, what happens if you have a field point range? Does it list each point in the range?
If you have a range
IXUS
over there,
manager.
so you have a start height and you have a range of 5 meters, it takes the maximum on that range.
Okay, yep, no worries.
Yeah.
So that just calculates the maximum between 0 and 5. And
Right, okay.
And if you want it at the specific point, you can make that 0. There. Now there's a point.
Yep, okay, cool.
Okay. All right, let's see what's next. Okay.
Sorry,
yes.
So this is Sam. Yeah. So for the field point, does it say at which height to represent that maximum?
No, it doesn't tell you here in the modeler which height this maximum was calculated. Yeah, but that's a very good point and something
Sam,
that we will
I think that is actually in the database. So it gets sent with the SOAP message back to the manager. So it should be there. I just couldn't really figure out why someone would want it, but that's something you can request if you want to include the height in your description.
Yep. So we can check it out in the IXUS, the database you just showed before.
Yes, it's in the background in the database saved, but we can expose it if you want to see it.
Yuan, will you make
in this table? Yeah, does it show the maximum?
That is not the maximum. I think that is the location of the point. I think it's the location of where we place the starting point of this value.
Yeah,
but it's
we had to make a choice between the two, so we decided to go with the bottom point.
Johan, will you make some notes for us as the recommendations come in, please?
In
Because
fact,
that is a very good one.
I will open the help desk and then I'll start adding those feature requests as people request it.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, but that's a good suggestion. So if Ning, you can obviously add, as I showed over here, you can add the range 0 and the start height 0. Then it's the exact point where you place where you probe the value, and then yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go on. Then next is our updates to the environmental Ortho Slices. So you will see there's two features that's been added here. Firstly, very similar calculation options to the field points, percentage of public, percentage of occupational, and e-field total. And then the other addition to this environmental Ortho Slices is legends. So you can now add a legend with an Ortho Slice, and this legend is processed as images when you take some pictures, and these pictures can be used in the reports. So you now have a legend that's associated with this Ortho Slice. But there is, if you have multiple Ortho Slices, that as I will show now, there's a specific order that's applied to them, which is if there's multiple different ones, the order is percentage of the public, percentage of the occupational, and then the e-field total. That is applied to the legend. Okay, so let me show you what I mean with all this. I'm going to start, oh, sorry, that's my field point. That's not what I want to show. I want to show this. Okay. And then I have my two Ortho Slices. So here I just selected, you have a new toolbar option, a new icon over here that has this show hide environmental Ortho Slice legends, which you can toggle. So you can click it and then it'll show a legend. If, for example, yeah, and then obviously you can modify your individual environmental Ortho Slice. You can select the values, what should it be, percentage of occupational, public, or e-field total. So let's say that this one is now percentage of occupational. I can still place a maximum value also, as you guys are used to, and I can calculate it. And then this Ortho Slice is set in that standard. So let's, for example, change this one. I can make it public. And keep an eye on this legend as well. Now this legend changes to the public, as I said, because of the order in which we process which Ortho Slice this legend pertains to. This can all go into a picture as well, as you see over here. And if you and these pictures can then be used in reports. So everything is nice and concise. You have a legend, you have your Ortho Slice in the picture. Okay, is there specific questions about the Ortho Slices? Okay, if not, then I'm going to continue.
I might just quickly say there, Donnie.
Yes.
If you used the built-in functionality to add the legend in the report itself, then you just have to change your template a little bit to remove that, and then you can use this legend instead. But it's your choice. If you don't show the legend on any pictures, everything will work exactly the same as it used to.
Okay. Thank you for bringing me back to the manager. That's a good year. I forgot to mention that these environmental Ortho Slices, if you selected to calculate the maximum value, this information is also passed here to the manager with the location of this maximum as well as the value in the unit. Let me just go here to the report so that I show you guys what it looks like in the this is a very, very basic report template. I didn't do, it's not a elaborate work of art, but it'll show you the most important areas. Okay, so there, for example, is what it looks like. If you have your picture now you have your embedded legend, and the one that Johan was referring to, you can remove is this one over here. You can update your document template to rather not use this, but you stick to the embedded legend associated with the Ortho Slice in the picture. Okay. All right. Some further updates includes highlighting and mouse controls. So you will see now if you have multiple labels, let's say, for example, associated with various antennas, if you click on the label, the antenna, if you click on the item, the label will then be highlighted in the modeler. I'll show that now. Markers, individual markers can also be selected, and these are highlighted too, and mouse control inputs are now capped to a maximum of plus and minus 500 meters. So if, as I noted, if you have the antennas here, ooh, let me show them. Let me show them over here. Where is my? There's my antenna. If I click on my antenna, then it'll highlight it over there. Like that. And if you, yeah, let's say I'm gonna zoom out now a lot, increase it, increase it, increase it. The tower is growing, it's capped at 500. Okay, if you want to model really big sites. Okay. Any questions about this? Rather straightforward. Okay. Another addition was we added multiple mounting structures on sectional poles. So you can easily duplicate a type of mounting structure on a pole. It's rather easy to show you. Let's say I have a pole like this. I can open it. I have I've added some frames. I can add more over there. Let's say, okay. I can add a different type. Let's say over there. Okay. And it's simple for you to duplicate these mounting structures. Base rotation for a lattice. This was also added. So if you have, for example, a lattice over here, like that, then I can rotate the base of it. As you see, like this. Any questions? Rather straightforward. Okay. And this brings me to our last big feature, which is the addition of a grid. And the purpose of this was to aid you guys, to assist you guys in the dimensioning of some uniform shapes, like, for example, lobe imprints. Another benefit of this item is that it also adds some additional snapping points to a surface. That will make placing geometry a little bit easier. But the main idea, the central focus of it, was to add some something that you can use to dimension. Like, for example, a blueprint like this. Not a blueprint, a lobe imprint like this. So it is also activated by this little grid icon over there. That is part of the basic shapes toolbar there. It's called a grid. And I already placed one, which I will, that's
Yeah, so I can can just mention so the grid function is like a first step of trying to make it easier to dimension these oddly shaped exclusion zones.
Yeah.
So, and the grid is also geometry in this case. So it's not as if it's actually part of the model. It's geometry in the geometry tree, and you can use the grid to draw. If you want to draw something in a grid, you can make the line spacing very small, and then you can use that as well. Eventually, we're heading towards something else, so which I'm going to try and show you a picture of just now.
Okay, so yeah, as Johan said, you can play around with the line spacing. Over there, you can make it really fine, like this, and then you have a nice and fine grid over there. There's some snapping points that's also added to this geometry. Grids are not limited to flat 2D structures. It can also be it can also be placed vertically, like this, for example, over there, and you can modify its properties to make the spacings a little bit narrower. And then you can obviously dimension. If you want a dimension between these 2 points, you can add a dimension. So, like
I can
that.
just also add the amount of snapping points in the model makes it a lot slower. So if you add a massive grid, then it's going to make the CAD a little bit slower because there's just so many geometry points that needs to available in the, I almost want to say the foreground in the OOPS window. So that makes it a little bit slower. So just keep that in mind, but I'm sure you understand that.
Hey, Danny, is there any
Yes.
way to get the coordinate of one of the grid points in an easy way?
Not an easy way to show the coordinate here, but that's a very good point. And I know in a lot of other CAD, especially in the computational EM world, if you move a pointer like this, you have a little box here that shows you the XYZ coordinate,
Yes.
which is something that we should consider. Johan, that's a good point. If you can, yeah.
I'll add that, and
Yeah.
also Donnie, I sent you a link in the chat.
I saw now.
Of what we're working on now for the roadmap.
I saw.
Just to show them what we're heading to.
Okay, I will open that now. I just want to show one more thing is you can also rearrange pictures over here. And that's it. So if you take nice pictures now with the grid, just to round off on the grid, you can obviously, this grid is included in your picture view, and here is an example of the report where you can now have this grid here as well, which might be able to replace this default background grid that we have. Am I right, Johan?
Danny, is the grid automatically dimensioned, or you have to add that as a label?
This one in the background, or the one that I just showed you?
So the one that you're showing at the moment, there's a dimension of 10 meters.
That is, you have to add that manually.
Right, okay.
But it's easy because you have these snapping points at the various corners of or edges of these grid blocks. So,
yes.
But you have to add that. We are working, as Johan will show now, we are working towards doing that automatically, but this is a first step towards that.
Well, you know, I was thinking too, you could get the dimensions of the grid points by using the tape measure, I guess. You know, you snap it from one grid point to another.
Yeah. Okay, so Vitas, this is implemented as geometry because it's sort of the first step that we wanted to do. We don't want to implement a massive feature and then all at once. We do it in steps. So in this picture, the background grid is implemented inside while generating the report, like everyone knows. You can see that in the modeler, and the small grid that you see is actually geometry. What we're intending to do is to give you sort of the best of both eventually, to be able to add in the modeler, add a 3D grid with dimensioning added already. So that's what the link that I sent Donnie. So maybe Donnie, you can just click on
I
the
will
link and
open
show
that.
them the picture.
There we go. Something like that.
So,
oh yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
So that's what we're heading to, and it's almost finished, and it will be available in the next release, but it gives you an idea of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, we are basically trialing this at the moment. Our developer is more or less finished with it, and we should get it to you guys hopefully very soon. Okay, everybody, that was the main features. I don't think I missed anything. So now it would be good to hear some thoughts from you guys. Are you happy with what we've added? Is there more feature requests? Anything would be valuable. Any information.
Hey guys, can you hear me? It's Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, one of the first features you guys mentioned was the ground point. I think I'm not sure if we were the ones that suggested that, but we were looking at it, I think, the other way around. We didn't really want it at all, rather than have it fixed permanently. I don't know if someone else may have had it the other way around or whatnot.
Okay.
From what we found, the modeler defaults to 0, and you have to tell it very specifically to go below that. So we delete the ground point the minute we come into the model each time we create it. So it's not something we snap to or anything like that. It was that. So I think, I'm not sure whether that got written down wrong in translation when we may have mentioned it, or if someone else may have mentioned they wanted it fixed. And if that's the case, that's not a problem. You can leave it like that. But yeah,
Sure.
maybe that. Yeah, we got our wires crossed there, but yeah, we were the other way on that one.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tim.
no, Tim, sorry, that I think that is different from what you guys wanted, but the majority of people struggle to find where the 0 point is when the ground marker is deleted. So
yeah, that's fine.
I had people drawing CADs like this, but 500 meters to the left, and then it gets
okay.
an out of bounds error, and then I have to tell them, no, you're drawing this thing way off from the ground. So that's the whole reason, and you can, in your case, you can just hide it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I thought, yeah, if this was implemented because of something we said, we may have got our wires crossed, but that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. We'll just keep it the way it is. If it looks good from our end, I had a good crack at it yesterday. Threw a few big sites at it and whatnot. Yeah, I broke it a few times, but that's just, I think we've got a few issues with geometry in some of the sites that we have. So that's probably attributing to it a bit more than the actual modeler itself. We noticed that it saves a lot quicker and things like that now, which is really good. And yeah, what was the other one? The lobe imprints seem to do strange things depending on the computer we had them on, but they still seem to, they work properly now. They actually make the lobe appear. So yeah, we were having trouble before where we'd have to have 3 or 4 goes at it to get it going. But yeah, from the bit of testing we've done, it's a good release so far.
Okay, thank you. We are working with our third-party software vendor that we're using to do these lobe imprints. But if you guys are experiencing issues with it, please send an email to support or let me know directly so that I can take note of it and let you know if we release any updates. But yeah. Yeah, at the moment, we have verified that it should be stable.
Sorry, I just added a little poll where you can have a look at in the chat. A question or a suggestion by Ning was to set the ground point hidden by default. So we can definitely do that. That's easy. And you guys can vote there if you want. Of course, all of you understand that there's that feature requests part under the knowledge base where you can also add any features that you want. And then people can vote on it.
Maybe it's not a bad idea to look through the portal as well, Johan. That's a good suggestion. So if we can, you go here to the help desk, right? And then let's just make sure we know exactly where it is. Here we are. Where exactly are you?
Click on knowledge base.
Okay, we are going to our knowledge base. Yes,
Then
and
just
we are
below
going to
feature requests.
feature requests. Okay. And
So
then
if you click on view all, you'll see a lot of the features that was implemented already.
all right.
So there's not a lot of votes on here because I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but anyone can vote on this list and anyone can add it here. So all of you have access to the same list here.
Okay.
One or two features. So I want to go and look for that file where I captured all of the requirements that everyone gave me in Australia when I was there earlier this year. And there's some features that we have on there that still needs to be implemented. For instance, to be able to specify uncertainty so a different uncertainty for the far field and near field and stuff like that. So hopefully the next release will be more calculator related. Yeah, but if there's any of those features that you want to have added, just put it on this list, and if it gets enough votes, we'll do it.
Yeah, and everybody can see everything from anybody, right?
Yeah, all companies have the same access to this list.
Okay. That is a very useful thing to know. And also on our help desk, there's all sorts of articles as well. We are currently making an effort to write a bit more about our technical aspects, and these documents I'll publish as white papers, which I will upload to our website. And I will send you guys an update when this is available. This is things like, for example, how we model 5G antennas. How do we account for the environment in IXUS? Things like that. I think there's one more thing that I would like to show you, seeing that we are here on the portal. Sometimes we get some requests about if you have antennas and you want to find out if we have a similar antenna. I just want to make sure everybody is aware of our advanced search functionality on the antennas side of our portal. So you can really, you can say here if you have, you need an antenna between, I don't know, at a specific frequency range with a specific gain value of then it'll give you that. Sorry. No, there's nothing there. Let's just make it simpler. Let's just search for an antenna between those frequency bands. Then it'll pop out all the antennas with those specific specs. Because sometimes we get a question sent to support, which is more than welcome, of course. But in order to speed things up, you guys can also use this advanced search functionality to look for similar antennas if you cannot find the model in the portal. Okay. I think that was about what we had planned for. If there's nothing more to discuss, then I would really like to thank all of you for attending and for the comments that we received and the notes that we received. We are working really hard to make IXUS as useful as possible for you guys, to make your lives easier. And I want to remind you that we always have an open channel to us. And we do try to accommodate everybody with what we deliver to you guys. Okay. I will say thank you, and that you should have a good afternoon further and a great evening. And I will send you the webinar recording link.
Okay, so thank you very much, Donnie. So just last thing, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask. I know there should be. And we've had some issues with one or two clients where one or two of the licenses dropped when they upgraded to IXUS 4.0. We're still investigating why this happened. It's probably related to the change to 64.